Is there music? Good morning, everybody, and thanks for coming to Kellen's Coffee Talk. I appreciate you all being here, and I wanted to let you know just ahead of time that this would not be possible if it were not for Blue Sky Video Productions. This is my man behind the scenes, and this is Bruce Himmelbaugh.
Hi there. So thanks. Yeah, so real quick, I guess you want me to I'm the sponsor of the show. Is that what I am?
You're my sponsor. Yep.
Or I'm just the producer. And usually the producers do not come on camera. You know that.
Yeah, but you're so cute.
It's okay there. So I'm Bruce, Blue Sky Video Productions, and we do this. We produce live streams for people.
Great.
As well as producing live streams for ourselves. Follow us on BSVP TV everywhere you get your social media.
Thanks, Bruce.
Back to the show.
Yeah. Okay, my guest today is literally dynamite, and you will find out why in a few minutes. He's a full-time social media manager and marketer, and he's a perpetual optimist, which is why I think we get along so well. He's made it his mission to help everyone in branding and marketing, and I'm very pleased to announce Wes Wyatt.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
Thanks for being here, Wes.
Thanks for having me.
Actually, I had a question just off the top of my head. Where did the dynamite come from?
You know, I'm going to be 52 this year, and I watched a lot of Good Times when I was a kid. So maybe a little Jimmy Walker,
Okay.
rubbed off on me.
I love it. I love it. We talked earlier about some things that we wanted to talk about today. And the first topic I think I want to hit is when you say put your own mask on first. Do you want to explain that?
Yeah. And this is not by any means my, analogy, but they always tell you when you're on a plane that the very first thing that you want to do is put your mask on first if the oxygen drops, because you can't help the person next to you if you can't breathe. So as it pertains to online or anything, that you're doing, if you don't take care of yourself first, you can't help others. So that's really as simple as it gets. I have a brand that I'm going to be doing that's market yourself first, or market you first. And it's just that, going through and instead of being a company person where you're, constantly, spewing out information about, say, XYZ company, and being that XYZ person, you don't want to be known by XYZ. You want to be known by yourself. You want to be known by Kellen. You want to be known by Wes. And then that way, if for some reason or another something goes south with that opportunity, everybody doesn't associate you as that person. You can still move on. So that's really all it was. It's just kind of taking care of yourself first, and then that way you can help the others around you.
Great. So you talk about personal branding and making sure that people remember you, and not necessarily. So it's basically a strategic plan to help you move wherever you want and people to know you and follow you. Does that sound?
That's spot on. The branding side, it's kind of like, and this is going to sound very almost mean, but I do believe that there's some truth to it, and that is, I think that the expert out there many times is not always the person with the most knowledge. It's the person that tells you they're the expert the most. So it's almost like if you see somebody enough. I'll give you a great example, and not to pick on this guy, but I think it's Ty something. He's the guy that pops up on every YouTube, walking around his mansion and telling you how many books he's read and whatnot. The guy has been, absolutely tattooed on my brain as being an expert. I don't know if he's a real expert. I know that he can advertise on YouTube. And if you don't know who that is, then it might be a bad example, but there's always that one thing that you see, no matter when you go on Facebook, no matter when you do anything. And I'm not talking about a pixel following you around. I'm talking about somebody that's actually, just constantly telling you, as an example, a Tony Robbins, kind of a person. Again, I think Tony Robbins has got some outstanding information, but he also has a marriage course, and I know he got a divorce. So, I mean, I think to myself, if you can brand and market yourself and constantly be out there doing something, where whether it's a challenge, whether it's a, just a maybe a 75 hard type program where you're, constantly doing something every day and branding yourself at the same time, that's going to put you in the forefront of people's minds as an influencer and an expert, whether it's true or not. No, in the particular case of me, I would never tell somebody that I knew how to do something that I don't. I know what I don't know, but the masterminds and the things that you get into online, if you don't know it, there's probably a great shot that you know somebody that does. So that's pretty much where all that come from. Not to give you a long answer as to what you asked.
An answer is what we need. So thank you. Get off rented space. What does that mean?
Getting off rented space is bigger now than it's ever been. And without getting political or religious or anything, think of cancel culture. Think of anything that has to do with somebody else holding your information. So all these I love. I just want to say if the powers that be are watching, I have absolutely nothing against you. But if it's Facebook, if it's Twitter, if it's YouTube, those three especially, if right now you say the wrong thing, you could be gone tomorrow. And the other thing is that it's happened many, many times. If you see, an influencer that has Kellen, let's say, 76, it may be that they've gotten either there's a bunch of Kellens out there, or, they've actually been knocked off of that platform so many times that now they're on number 76. And it happens all the time, so getting off a rented space means going over to something like a Patreon, or in my case, I use something called Podia, and having a place where you can have your information all in one digital area, but not have to worry about a Facebook, a Twitter, a YouTube, deciding that they are going to, whether it's a terms of service, cancel culture, a violation of, accidentally playing music in the background that you didn't know was playing, having a picture in the background that you didn't know, or, if you're a military person, I think it's Article 134, where it's just a catch-all. So it's getting off of someone else's platform and going onto a platform that you have control of.
And do you have any strategies for that to help people actually?
Yes. I think that there's a couple of different ones that you need to do, and there can be a combination of all these, and that would be going first and foremost to a place where you have control of the information. Again, in my case, it's Podia. You always ask if somebody goes to weswyatt.com/members. That is a Podia site. Full disclosure, I don't have a lot of information there first, but you asked me about it, so I'll tell you. But the way that Podia works is it allows you to have the same sort of like a WordPress. You can have your information, you can have your videos, you can have all your audios, you can have, all of the different information there. And then if you also want to post it onto, say, Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, you can do that as well. But if something happened, and the nice thing about Podia as well is it also allows you to build up that mailing list. So it kind of couples with the very first thing that we were talking about with put your mask on first. if you have a mailing list, okay, and it doesn't really matter about the rented space or any of that stuff, if something happens to you and you have a situation where XYZ company is no longer the thing that you're in, you could always go to that mailing list and say, hey guys, for whatever reason, I'm no longer XYZ. I'm now Kellen. I'm now Wes. I'm now whoever. And I'm moving on from that. And I'm going to be branding myself. So I would really like you to stay with me, through this new venture. But if you don't have that mailing list and you don't have that place that still has all your information, then you are at ground zero every time it happens. And unfortunately, that's what people do. In this world of online, the best way to be is to go the route of a postage stamp, stick and stay, until you reach your destination. Most people don't do that. Most people do, everything but, the first time something happens, people jump ship, something new comes out and they go to it. If you stick and stay and you have a place where all your stuff is in one central location, you don't have to worry about that rented space. And then the other thing that you asked about, what are the steps? In addition to going to something like a Podia or a Patreon or something like that, what you want to do is also, whether it's through like a Google Drive or a Dropbox or even Amazon S3 storage, you really want to have your stuff saved somewhere else, just in case. I mean, could you imagine being a YouTuber or Vimeo or something, and all of a sudden your stuff's gone? The sheer digital real estate that you would lose in one of those situations would just be devastating. So that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it. That's great. I did not have that kind of information on Podia, so I appreciate that. And I know our listeners do too, because, a lot of us are new to this whole digital and video and StreamYard world. Let's see. So in our Megamind group, you had talked about a vodcast, and that intrigued all of us. And like, is that a made up word, or can you tell us about that?
That one is going to get into the ether somewhere. I didn't come up with it. I wish I had. If I could, go through and put my moniker on it and say that I come up with it, like three-peat or something like that. I wish I could, but in the grand scheme of things, it is just simply, instead of a podcast where you have audio, a vodcast is a video broadcast. So it would be like something that we're doing right now. That is essentially a vodcast, even though it is going live. If you're presenting a show in the form of not just audio, that's how I heard as a vodcast. And again, I wish I'd come up with it, but I just use it.
Nice. Looks like Alan has a question. Why Podia over WordPress website that you own?
I actually have both, just to let you know. And I had people go to, weswyatt.com/members. I do a redirect from my blog. The reason more than anything is, if you've ever used WordPress and tried to Frankenstein together carts, capture pages, email, of widgets that allow you to have somebody go through and opt into something, a payment processor, which, is more or less a cart, or part of the cart, the membership side of it in the form of coupon codes and just a myriad of other things that you can kind of Frankenstein together. And what I mean by Frankenstein is, sometimes you have to have something for your membership, something for your cart, something for all those. And sometimes they play nice, sometimes they don't. A new version comes out of WordPress and maybe two of the things don't work because they haven't caught up or whatever. With Podia, for me, the beauty of it is that they call it an all-in-one digital storefront. So it does everything. You can quite literally go on there and you can have membership levels. You can provide different plans, just like a Patreon. You can give different levels to different people. But one of the biggest things for me, and it was something that I know you're going to talk to me about as well, and that was, digital assets. I'm sure there's something that you do every single day that you wish you had a way to just say, you know what, go here. And for me, and I'll tell you a gentleman that I work with that would be a great example, and that is I do work with a gentleman called Brian with one eye, and his name is Brian Wagner. And what he has done is he's turned his business around the sight that he's missing in one eye. So he's Brian with one eye. Genius, absolute genius. But his company's called radicalvision.com. And he has a one sheet that he sends out for his speaking engagements and other things. And I said, Brian, how often do you send that out, or how often do you have to put that in the email and all that? And he said, oh, you can't even imagine. I said, why don't you just send it in your email to be able to download your one sheet from Podia, and then by doing that, the person would have to provide their email to get it. So two different things happen. He gets the name of the person that's asking for it, so they now go into a membership and can start an autoresponder process where he's dripping information on them and not even talking to them. But at the same time, what's happening is they're also getting that one sheet downloaded, but all he really did was point it to them, and then the process just takes over automatically. So it just saves an unspeakable amount of time.
Eric. Oh, so yeah, that was gonna say that was going into my next point, and that was to take your knowledge and digital download, and but we can go a little bit further by adding a paywall, correct?
Yeah, you can make it to where it's free. So like if you go to that weswyatt.com/members, you'll notice that some of the posts are public. As a matter of fact, I think right now I have all of them set to public, but you can make it to where there is a plan that somebody can go into. And I think in the case of it right now, it is, I don't have a plan set up. I think it's just community. But you can make a tribe one that's say $5, and then make it to where you put extra information in there. Maybe you add PDFs to the stuff that you're talking about that day to kind of give them the cliff notes. But in the case of what I was talking about with Brian, the one sheet would be free. So that'd be something that the people would basically get that for giving their email address. But what would happen is, let's say that it wasn't that. Let's say it was a course, which he actually has on there. They could pay, and then you could do a myriad of things from there. You could provide coupon codes where you not only say you're giving a discount, or you're providing a discount on another product or whatever. But the beauty of Patreon, or not Patreon, but Podia, is they also allow affiliates. So if you have a product that people are evangelistic about, which is another thing we're going to talk about, you can make it to where not only they can come in, but then if they love your stuff to consume it, they can then be affiliates as well, which is, again, one of those things that you have to Frankenstein together in a WordPress.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, do you want to go into the evangelist comment?
I do. And what the evangelistic side is yet another thing that is in the works, on my end, is Drive to 1K. And what Drive to 1K is and I always mess this up. So if I said it wrong, I apologize. But there's a gentleman out there, I'll call him KK. I know it's Kevin, and it's either Kraus or Klein, I think. But he's got a 1,000 true fans. And if you look up 1,000 true fans, you'll find him. And you'll also see Seth Godin's got something out there about it as well. And what the concept of it is that if you have 1,000 true fans, and these aren't the people that just follow you flippantly or, kind of, sort of. These are the people that are evangelistic. They love you. They think that everything you say is gold. Okay. And, it's going to take a while to build those. It's kind of like, when you have a quarter or a dime or a nickel, the nickel's bigger, the dime's smaller, but the dime's worth more. So, it's like you have smaller amount, but it's worth more. So as the people build, those 1,000 fans will eventually, as an author, a musician, a magician, a speaker, whatever, those 1,000 fans will take you to the end of the earth, because if you can gain $100 a year average off of 1,000 fans, you're making $100,000 a year. So, and an average mailing list, that's very achievable. So, and by the way, I want to point this out. The 1,000 true fan theory isn't just for monetary gain, but in this particular case, that's what they were talking about. So, you have something like what we're talking about daily, which is being in a mastermind, or in our case, a mega mind group. It is very, very important to have people behind you that are evangelistic, because if you have people on that are, come and go, or you only see them post, sometimes I'll go through a Facebook birthday list and go to wish somebody a happy birthday, and I was the last one to post on their page, and they're not dead. They just don't use it. So that person is probably going to go bye-bye. It's not that I don't love them. It's not that I don't like them. It's just, I want people that I can talk to and I can share and I can gain other things from. Most of the stuff that I've talked to you about today, I've earned and gained from somebody else, and they probably got from someone else. And it's been this, perpetual sharing. And that's what a true mastermind is going through and just trying your best to, as Miles Monroe, the great Miles Monroe would say, he's passed away, but he always said you should die empty. And the reason why is because the richest places in the world aren't the diamond mines or the oil fields or, striking oil. It's the cemetery, because that's where people died without, singing songs that they had in their heart, or telling people they loved them, or sharing information. It's the richest place in the world. So you need to die empty. And that's what a mastermind does, is it allows you to die empty.
Now, I realize you've only been a Megamind for a few days, but I think you just described our group. And as just from a new person's perspective, what do you find is the dynamic that makes that group so, we're so helpful and efficient, and it's an amazing place to be. Well,
I probably give you an answer that you won't expect. The information you can find anywhere, Kellen. I mean, if knowledge was power, we'd all be, absolute, gods. Applied knowledge is power. It's out there. You can find it readily, YouTube, Google, wherever. Where a mega mind is extremely attractive to me is you've got people that hold your butt to the fire. The Monday call that you guys do where you say, what's your goals of this week? On Friday, if you haven't hit those goals and somebody's asking you about it, they're not going to come to your house with a baseball bat, but they're going to make you feel like, you know what? I said I didn't do it, and now I feel like a real dolt. And there's something about having a running partner or having somebody that is a accountability partner that really, really, really will allow you to kick up to the next notch. And the other thing is that if you're not kicking up to the next notch, you feel like you're less than. And I don't think that masterminds, or in this case, Megamind, is ever out to make somebody feel like that. But it does happen kind of naturally. And that's the part that I dig.
Yeah, I noticed that if I don't reach, one of our Monday goals, I feel like I've let you guys down. And that's a huge motivator for me because, the time with you guys is so, it's special because you guys we're all giving time out of our busy days. Let's see. Oh, Wes, this has been awesome. Thanks, Kellen, for your new format. Yeah, I like this new format.
I apologize in advance for the dogs. We have a delivery man coming to deliver a washer and dryer today, and they look like they are actually on time. So I do apologize for the barking.
Oh, don't worry about it. It's the world of live. I mean, Gus has been snoring the whole time, and I'm not sure if you guys can hear that either. So, Sean, Megamind is about training and encouraging one another. Yes, it is. It's more. I mean, I can't. I get all excited whenever I talk about Megamind. Who's your favorite Megamind?
Oh boy.
Oh, he's going to answer this honestly.
you're looking at me and smiling. Right now, I'd have to say Rich.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. What is something about you that people don't know? That's legal. That's legal.
Well, I killed a man once for snoring. Let's see. Don't research that. That was John Wesley Harden, not Wesley Wyatt. But I would say, I like to eat a sandwich around the outside first. Pop-Tarts too. I know that you guys are probably looking at me and saying, this guy eats Pop-Tarts looking like that. I'm just...
I love
but no, I like to eat the crust first. The crust is my favorite part of a sandwich.
I cut my crust off.
Oh.
We're like yin and yang.
You should probably send that to me.
Yeah, no life is complete without the dogs. Bruce, you want to bring somebody on? Yes, in Megamind, we build each other up. Hey, Randy.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Hey, JR. Did you guys have any questions for Wes, or do you have anything you want to comment on or share your wisdom?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Wes, Kellen, great show again. Excellent show. I just wanted to touch real quick on what he said. I love the air mask on the airplane analogy. I've used that before myself. I think it's brilliant, Wes. And I also loved your comment about from a branding standpoint of I think I texted it into our Megamind group, but Kellen Inc., right? Kellen Limited. Kellen, I just think that's huge as we all move forward in our ventures is, whether you're working for a company or whether you're an independent rep like I am, it doesn't matter. I mean, hell, you could be gone tomorrow from somebody, right? Mm-hmm. But Randy Inc., Kellen Inc., Wes Inc. follows us wherever we go, right? And so Wes, that was a couple of brilliant takes. I loved them. So great show, guys. That's all I got.
Thanks,
Randy. I need to suck up to you for a second, brother. I said Rich. I meant Randy. So.
Well, I mean, I did send you $50 last night for Christ's sake. Almost swore.
I only said 25.
I don't have everybody's name down yet. I apologize. Yeah, I love your walks.
My stuff here, so you got to go away. Well, thank you. Probably not. I don't know if I qualify, but thank you. And the $50 is in the mail. So
nice. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah,
JR.
thank you.
Oh, wait, you're muted.
How's
there
that?
That's good.
Randy, one time, many years ago, somebody in New York told me that $100, the C note, is first serious money. So if you're going to pay Wes, you got to send him some serious money, brother.
I got Pop-Tarts to buy.
Wes, the picture of you and Kellen eating edges or omitting edges, we've got a yin and yang here that is a nice balance. But I appreciate, some of the greatest items of genius are actually common sense things that people don't think of. Mm-hmm. And you're saying have your own files that you can go to. I was going through some files today looking at, I've had a couple catastrophic failures with hard drives. And then where you think you're backing up things to multiple sites and you find out when you go up there to that thing you've been paying for, that's corrupted and going, yikes, all these, this is yet another place for me to put my stuff that I need to.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that.
It's a very frustrating thing. I had a web host one time that during Super Bowl, I went down at halftime to look at my information. And when I did, it was completely gone. And I called and he said, yeah, I sold the company. And I said, well, did you, is it backed up? And he said, no. He goes, it's not backed up. And it was all gone. I mean, just that quick. No information for the last several years, just gone. So I learned, that day a valuable lesson. And it's just one of those things that I've had my name, weswyatt.com forever. I was one of those guys that bought stuff way back and bought my kids' names before they were born. And so when you lose something like that because you didn't think, it definitely gives you the best experience is a mistake. You can learn well from those. So it's something that now I back up in several places and save often is without a doubt my motto. And like you said, go and check on it.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you. This was very eye-opening, and I got the C note on the way to you. I'm covering Randy because he's too cheap to give you $100.
All right. I'll put it to good use.
Just kidding, Randy.
There we go. Randy is an example of preeminence. He posts videos often, and the perception he's the best megaminder. Just saying, he is actually awesome, though. Randy, you are. We love Randy. Randy Candy.
Indeed.
Okay, and then George. Oops, it went away. Double T. Oh, Tony Thorpe. Okay. So if people want to contact you or utilize your service, that sounds like you're a house cleaner. Sorry.
I look great in a French maid outfit.
That's okay. We're not going there. I got in trouble last show for my my thoughts. Okay. What's the best place for them to contact you?
Honestly, they can go to that weswyatt.com/members.
Okay.
I would love people to be in there. Like I said, it is lacking right now because it's just kind of been a getting started point, but that is going to be a very hot area for not only the podcast that I'll be doing and any projects that I have will all be housed on that location.
Well, it sounds like a call to action for megaminders.
Yeah.
On task. All right. Well, any final thoughts before we go?
I just want to thank you for having me on. This is exciting. I don't feel like I am interview worthy, but I can't thank you enough for not only having me on this, but for being one of the people that voted me in the Megamind.
Well, you're very welcome. And I'm very glad you're part of our group. And I really appreciate you being here today because you may not think that you're interview worthy, but you are more than interview worthy. And the information you gave this group is very valuable. And I'm sure everybody appreciates that.
Well, that's awesome. I will definitely take everything that I learned from you guys and share it with other people and keep the love going.
Yeah, that's all about love and family. So thanks for being here today. And remember, if you need an awesome producer, let's see. Thanks for the great half hour. Very informative. Well, thanks, Paul. Now I forgot what I was going to, I lose my train of thought a lot. Well, go.
So great, Wes, that was fantastic. Got a lot of information. And I truly believe that you are building your email list is more important than being popular on any platform, because I think I posted a comment earlier. If those who know who Grant Cardone is, he's a 10X guy, but there's a platform called Meerkat that was one of the early streamies right before Periscope came out. And
I remember it well.
yeah, Grant Cardone was crushing on Meerkat. He was like the #1 subscribed person on Meerkat, and he's put a lot of effort into that. And one day Meerkat went away.
Coolio. Okay. Oh, Michelle she subscribed. Wes, you've got one more subscriber. Yay.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Michelle. Okay. Well, I think that's all we have today. Until next week, you guys have a great, fabulous day.
Thanks for having me.
Oops. Thank you much. Thanks for all joining next week.